This message is going to be for those individuals that are actually seeking evolution and expansion of consciousness. If that's what resonates for you, this is going to hold intentional coding to give you information when it's meant to land. So I was walking and I was thinking and reflecting over the life experience. Now, for me, there's no judgment on lower or higher. That's just the hierarchy of consciousness and how things are. So if you are a higher dimensional being, you may have never experienced 1D, 2D, or those lower dimensional consciousnesses. And we've had to learn those through our human experience. So we had probably a lot of curiosity about darkness because we have never been that level of dimension of consciousness. And so there may be a lot of curiosity in the beginning about darkness and playing within that field and learning all the ins and outs. If you reflect back over your experience in your life and say early on in your life you experienced a lot of the trauma, the proverbial hell on earth, that dimensional reality, maybe it was all descended consciousness, lower patterning behaviors, and maybe it involved addiction, abuse, all of the things, right? So we have that whole dimensional construct of reality that is a paradigm. It holds grid systems, it holds templatings, it holds everything within the operational realm to function in that reality. And then say we get the calling, right? We get the call of our soul, or maybe you felt it, and what started you on your path of healing and expansion and all of those pieces is you start looking around and you're like, there's nothing else to learn from here. Like, I've learned everything within this dimensional expression of reality. There's no growth, there's no evolution. That's usually when the soul starts waking up. We start hearing or connecting to our essence, our soul, our creator, and that spark starts to expand. So then you take the necessary steps to navigate your way out of that dimensional reality. And that means knowledge, wisdom, learning about self, maybe the deep dive into other spiritual practices and developing different ways of experiencing a new dimensional reality. You're choosing to expand, all those layers are releasing, and then you step into the next dimensional reality that you choose. And the fun thing about being a human is we tend to an extent, rely on our human and get complacent within a specific reality. And that's where a lot of people sit. And they wonder why they're so unhappy. And they wonder why they're not experiencing the reality that they desire. They basically have gotten comfortable or complacent. Things are easy. They're predictable. That's just the human nature, is that we're seeking some sort of comfort. But when we learn to transcend a different dimensional expression or reality, we have to be willing to let go of all the illusions of comfort. We have to be willing to release all of the patterns, the behaviors, the identities, the experiences, the relationships. It ultimately has to take a complete paradigm shift in our reality to experience a new dimensional expression. And this usually happens when we're going through accelerated soul growth. And so you'll feel that pull or that calling. You're looking around, things are kind of just repeating, and on a soul level, you can either choose to evolve and expand, or sometimes universe, God, your higher aspect will set you up to actually have you ejected out of a certain reality and experience. And I know I had that multiple times, and in the beginning it was very hard for my human to accept, because I still had a lot of programming or believing it had something to do with me, when it was just, no, you're growing and evolving. Your frequency, your vibration is no longer in resonance to the environment, to the experiences, to the people that you're around. You've learned everything here. Like, it's time to go higher, it's time to evolve, it's time to expand again. And it becomes a lot more easeful for your experience if we're understanding of that. Change is a part of this growth. If you're choosing to grow and evolve and expand, that's going to be a part of this. Learning the new dimensional experience, the new templates, the new functionality within a new dimensional reality. And I'm going to say that most people probably listening to me share a similar desire to grow and expand. Okay, so now maybe you mastered everything in the old earth paradigm, the old way of being. We now have access to new earth, and it does not operate within the same paradigm of reality. It operates within sovereignty. So you can still be choosing things in the old paradigm of reality, but are you choosing it from conscious choice and awareness? Maybe it's still choosing to engage with individuals that are not on the same dimensional experience or not on the same path as you. We care, like if it's family or we love them, and so we still choose to engage. But the interesting thing about when you step into the new earth frequency, and we can easily step out until we've learned to master holding that frequency of creation, of creating our experience, rather than having to descend backward in new earth, you're stepping into a dimensional reality. that's basically of your own creation and desire, and of your sovereign free will and choice. Now, the thing about New Earth is because we have not had the vibrational frequency of the planet up until recently to access this state of being, this level of consciousness, this dimensional reality that can be solidified into a physical experience. And with it comes whole new frequency. So if you are a new earth or you are seeking that, I tend to show up in people's experience in their transition phase. So I support individuals that are in their transition into the new earth frequency. And the experience, it comes with specific guidelines. I'll just say that. The reacting out of rescuer, savior, helper is not a paradigm of reality. And so one of the biggest guidance is not interfering with those that are choosing old earth. That is their choice to experience and learn reality through descending through all of the dimensional experiences, the trauma, the control, the fear, all of those dimensional constructs that make up that reality until, or if, in this lifetime, they choose to evolve and expand out of that. Just like any of us, we all have choice. We all have free will. We all have the ability to choose to step out of a dimensional experience